This has been rising for 13 hours. I made it last night. My fourth whiskey, so I can't tell you exactly when I started. Alright. This dough has risen quite a bit from its original size. I'm going to turn this out onto the countertop here. Use the spatula and get it out of the bowl. I did oil the bowl. I want to punch it out so that it's long. I don't want a square. So I'm going to punch this down here. I put a bunch of flour on there to keep it from sticking to me. As you can see, it's pretty sticky. It picks up a lot of flour. Alright, that was easy. Still got a lot of air bubbles in there. I don't want to pack it down too much. I'm going to give this a few minutes to rest. So I'm putting a cornmeal layer down here to keep it from sticking. I'm going to divide this long ways so that I end up with two long pieces of dough, so I don't have to stretch it out in order to make the long French baguette loaf. Let's make sure this isn't sticking. It's close, but it's not. Let's go. It's good. And I don't want to put too much flour on it right now, because if I do, it won't be as sticky as it needs to be in order to form these loaves. So let's go ahead and cut it in half. They don't have to be perfect. Okay, push it down in the center and roll it over itself. Push it down, roll it over. Push it down, roll it over. Push it down, push it down. Keep going all the way to the end. Alright, so we're creating a little bit of tension on this outside bit of dough here. And I'm going to do it again and come back the other direction from the other side. Push it down, come back. Push it down, come back. And it's starting to get a little stickier. Okay, we got saran wrap down over the loaves. I don't put a towel on this. I started doing it that way, but when I did, it would squash these things down and I end up with a flat loaf. We don't want a flat loaf. So I just put the saran wrap on here and leave it out. Well, as you can see here, I've got about the crappiest oven on earth. This is a Tappan, bottom of the line rental unit oven. It says it goes to 500 degrees. I set it to 500 degrees. I don't believe it quite gets to 500 degrees. We already had to call the landlord once to replace some of the guts in this thing, maybe because I turn it up all the way and leave it on for a while. I don't know. But anyways, this crappy oven gets the bread the way I want it. So I just wanted to demonstrate that you don't need a $10,000 oven to do this kind of bread. The crappiest oven on earth will do just fine. Yeah, I just want to check on our bread here. Make sure we're not sticking to the saran wrap. Looks pretty good. And one of the things, we got a bunch of flour down here, but as the bread rises, it exposes some of the moist dough, which loves to stick to saran wrap. And so I think we're doing good here. We've only been on for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to let this go for another, maybe an hour or so. We're getting a little bigger here. Getting a little wide, but it'll pop up in the oven. And get a little bit sticky, but not enough to stop us here. So I'm just going to leave that there while the oven heats up. Here in about 10 minutes, the oven will beep. I'll start the water boiling so that in our little steamer pan, so that it's ready to go. And here in about 15 minutes, we'll be putting this bread in the oven. I'll put the water on the burner here. We'll get it boiling so that it doesn't have to warm up in the oven. We want it hot when it goes in there, so it's steaming and raising hell. So while it's coming up to boil here, I just turned it on. I want to get the bread ready. We got to do a few things to it. Kind of overlap them. Get one more here on the end. Doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, The less perfect, the better. Now I'm just going to push these dimples down a little bit. Alright, we got our steam going here. That's full boil. I'm going to shut that off and put it in the oven. I'm just going to put it on the bottom shelf here. In the middle. I got my brush and my water. This is just plain water, nothing in it. And I'm going to use that on the bread right before it goes in. Now this is not scientific. I'm just going to get as much water on there as I can quickly. Try not to disfigure the bread. Just go lightly but thoroughly. We want to kind of get every part of it covered. This is going to allow the bread to span, but it's also going to give it that crispy baguette crust that I've always loved, and always loved baguette bread. Alright, I got it all brushed. It's all wet. There's water on the pan, but I don't care. Putting it in. 5 minutes has passed. I'm going to bring the bread out. It's steamy in there. Oh gosh. And I'm going to hit it again with the water. I do this pretty quick because I don't want to let the bread cool down too much, but it's not critical. Get it again. Getting a lot of water on there. And you can feel it at this point. It's starting to get a little bit crispy. So it's got an exoskeleton, if you will, where it's starting to be sturdy and you don't have to be so delicate with it. It's starting to smell good too. Another 5 minutes has passed here. I'm going to go back in. If you're right-handed, put your oven glove on your left hand here. Get this sucker out. That's the way I do it. This is the way I do it here. I'm going to hit it again. Now it's really starting to set up and be like a French baguette here. If you had a spray bottle here, this would be ideal. It'd probably take you a lot less time to do that. But like I said, I've had great luck with this brush technique. So if you don't have a clean spray bottle around, that's my problem. I've got spray bottles, but they got bleach and stuff in them. I don't want to be using those. So anyhow, I'm going to throw it back in there. I'm going to take out the steamer pan. This guy's hotter than hell. So as it dries out, it's going to start to brown that bread and give it that hard, crisp crust that we want in a baguette. So all right, 5 minutes has gone by here, and I'm going to flip this guy around. Okay, we're at 10 minutes now since our last brushing. I'm going to take a look at these things. They're getting a little dark, but I think they need a little more time. I may flip them around. Let's see what they look like. So they're looking pretty good. I'm going to leave them in just like they are so that this back one gets a little darker. Alright. So we've got a nice golden brown crust. And we're going to let these cool for a couple hours at least. You don't want to go cutting into them right away. I do a batch about 9 o'clock at night, and it's ready to start turning into bread the next day in the morning. So it's 1:20 right now in the afternoon. I'm gonna let these cool. We're gonna eat these for dinner.